bit of a dreamer myself, and I used to dream of you once. Very often during those 5 years down at his estate, I used to dream and think, and I always imagined just such a good, honest, foolish fellow as you, one who should come and say to me, 'You are an innocent woman, Nastasia Philipovna, and I adore you.' I dreamt of you often. I used to think so much down there that I nearly went mad. And then this fellow here would come down. He would stay a couple of months out of the 12, and disgrace and insult and deprave me, and then go, so that I longed to drown myself in the pond 1,000 times over. But I did not dare do it. I hadn't the heart. And now... Well, are you ready, Rogojin?" "Ready. Keep your distance, all of you." "We're all ready," said several of his friends. "The troikas are at the door, bells and all." Nastasia Philipovna seized the packet of banknotes. "Gania, I have an idea. I wish to recompense you. Why should you lose all? Rogojin, would he crawl for 3 roubles as far as the Vassili Ostrov?" "Oh, wouldn't he just!" "Well, look here, Gania. I wish to look into your heart once more, for the last time. You've worried me for the last 3 months. Now it's my turn. Do you see this packet? It contains 100,000 roubles. Now, I'm going to throw it into the fire, here, before all these witnesses. As soon as the fire catches hold of it, you put your hands into the fire and pick it out. Without gloves, you know. You must have bare hands, and you must turn your sleeves up. Pull it out, I say, and it's all yours. You may burn your fingers a little, of course, but then it's 100,000 roubles, remember. It won't take you long to lay hold of it and snatch it out. I shall so much admire you if you put your hands into the fire for my money. All here present may be witnesses that the whole packet of money is yours if you get it out. If you don't get it out, it shall burn. I will let no one else come. Away, get away, all of you. It's my money. Rogojin has bought me with it. Is it my money, Rogojin?" "Yes, my queen. It's your own money, my joy." "Get away then, all of you. I shall do as I like with my own. Don't meddle. Ferdishenko, make up the fire, quick." "Nastasia Philipovna, I can't. My hands won't obey me," said Ferdishenko, astounded and helpless with bewilderment. "Nonsense!" cried Nastasia Philipovna, seizing the poker and raking a couple of logs together. No sooner did a tongue of flame burst out than she threw the packet of notes upon it. Everyone gasped. Some even crossed themselves. "She's mad! She's mad!" was the cry. Oughtn't we to secure her?" asked the general of Ptitsin in a whisper. "Or shall we send for the authorities? Why, she's mad, isn't she? Isn't she, "No, I hardly think she is actually mad," whispered Ptitsin, who was as white as his handkerchief and trembling like a leaf. He could not take his eyes off the smouldering packet. "She's mad, surely, isn't she?" the general appealed to Totski. "I told you she wasn't an ordinary woman," replied the latter, who was as pale as anyone. "Oh, but positively, you know, 100,000 roubles." "Goodness gracious! Good heavens!" came from all 4 quarters of the room. All now crowded round the fire and thronged to see what was going on. Everyone lamented and gave vent to exclamations of horror and woe. Some jumped up on chairs in order to get a better view. Daria Alexeyevna ran into the next room and whispered excitedly to Katia and Pasha. The beautiful German disappeared altogether. "My lady, my sovereign!" lamented Lebedeff, falling on his knees before Nastasia Philipovna and stretching out his hands towards the fire. "It's 100,000 roubles, it is indeed. I packed it up myself, I saw the money. My queen, let me get into the fire after it, say the word. I'll put my whole grey head into the fire for it. I have a poor lame wife and 13 children. My father died of starvation last week. Nastasia Philipovna! Nastasia Philipovna!" The wretched little man wept and groaned and crawled towards the fire. "Away, out of the way!" cried Nastasia. "Make room, all of you! Gania, what are you standing there for? Don't stand on ceremony, put in your hand. There's your whole happiness smouldering away. Look, quick!" But Gania had borne too much that day, and especially this evening, and he was not prepared for this last, quite unexpected trial. The crowd parted on each side of him, and he was left face to face with Nastasia Philipovna, 3 paces from her. She stood by the fire and waited, with her intent gaze fixed upon him. Gania stood before her in his evening clothes, holding his white gloves and hat in his hand, speechless and motionless, with arms folded and eyes fixed on the fire. A silly, meaningless smile played on his white, death-like lips. He could not take his eyes off the smouldering packet, but it appeared that something new had come to birth in his soul, as though he were vowing to himself that he would bear this trial. He did not move from his place. In a few seconds it became evident to all that he did not intend to rescue the money. "Hey, look at it! It'll burn in another minute or two!" cried Nastasia Philipovna. "You'll hang yourself afterwards, you know, if it does. I'm not joking." The fire, choked between a couple of smouldering pieces of wood, had died down for the first few moments after the packet was thrown upon it, but a little tongue of fire now began to lick the paper from below, and soon, gathering courage, mounted the sides of the parcel and crept around it. In another moment the whole of it burst into flames, and the exclamations of woe and horror were redoubled. "Nastasia Philipovna!" lamented Lebedeff again, straining towards the fireplace. But Rogojin dragged him away and pushed him to the rear once more. The whole of Rogojin's being was concentrated in one rapturous gaze of ecstasy. He could not take his eyes off Nastasia. He stood drinking her in, as it were. He was in the 7th heaven of delight. "Oh, what a queen she is!" he ejaculated every other minute, throwing out the remark for anyone who liked to catch it. "That's the sort of woman for me! Which of you would think of doing a thing like that, you blackguards, eh?" he yelled. He was hopelessly and wildly beside himself with ecstasy. The prince watched the whole scene, silent and dejected. "I'll pull it out with my teeth for 1,000," said Ferdishenko. "So would I," said another from behind. "With pleasure. Devil take the thing," he added in a tempest of despair. "It will all be burnt up in a minute. It's burning! It's burning!" "It's burning! It's burning!" cried all, thronging nearer and nearer to the fire in their excitement. "Gania, don't be a fool! I tell you for the last time." "Get on, quick!" shrieked Ferdishenko, rushing wildly up to Gania and trying to drag him to the fire by the sleeve of his coat. "Get it, you dummy! It's burning away fast! Oh, damn the thing!" Gania hurled Ferdishenko from him.